Hi, this is Free Thinking Through the Fourth Turning. My name is Sasha Stone. The beginning of the end of Woketopia. When Hollywood decides it's running the country, it's all over but the shouting. It began with the nation's first black president, but it would become much bigger. It would become a movement that captured every major institution in this country, including public schools, universities, corporations, and nearly all of culture. This could not last only 2 terms. No, this had to last forever. When Donald Trump won in 2016, the power concentrated in the Obama coalition refused to step aside. Trump was the problem. His supporters were the problem. They didn't like this new utopia that had become America and wanted change. But that change would never be allowed to take place. The coup began even before Trump took office. A group of powerful elites decided it was their choice who could and could not represent the people. If one of them offended the ruling oligarchy, he was seen as a racist and had to be stopped by any means necessary. They used every lever of power to stop him, to remove him, and to destroy him. They did this with the full cooperation of the nation's press corps. They did it in full view of the security state. They did it with the enthusiastic support of the voters. Get him, destroy him, remove him. I was one of them. I wrote endless pieces about why Hillary Clinton had to win, because history had to be made. I spent years pushing woke ideology into the film industry. It made me feel important. I was part of a movement, something bigger than myself. I had the admiration of my friends and pats on the back by powerful people. Why would I ever want to give that up? I believed Donald Trump was a racist because the Democrats told me so. I believed he was a Russian spy because I watched Rachel Maddow. I believed he was a danger to our country because I read the New York Times. And I believed that the only thing that mattered in our lives was that those of us who were among the white majority did everything we could to elevate the oppressed minorities. If someone had stood up to stop it all of those years ago, maybe it would have never reached this crisis point. But who was going to do that? Not the FBI, they were in on it. Not the legacy press, they were in on it too. And Hollywood, they were helping to write the screenplay. I'm with her. I believed in Hillary Clinton, and when she lost, I too wanted revenge on the system that had denied her the presidency and had prevented us from making history. When 2019 came along, I knew only Biden could defeat the one-term president with a strong economy. But no one else in our movement did. They wanted a woman to make up for Hillary's loss. Elizabeth Warren was right for one kind of Hillary supporter. Kamala Harris, however, wasn't just right. She was a religious figure. But Kamala Harris gave a bad audition for the role of our new leader. She couldn't do it. She bombed out. She was too easily triggered. She was testy. She didn't seem to know much of what she was talking about. She looked right for the part, but she wasn't believable. And down she went. However, she was too valuable to abandon. She had that combination of good looks, sex appeal, toughness, and most of all, she was not white. So Biden, in hopes of gaining some woke cred, selected Harris as his running mate.
I think that, to be very honest with you, I do believe that we should have rightly believed, but we certainly believe that certain issues are just settled. Certain issues are just settled.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Today, the business of our work is for the council to report on the work that has occurred since our last meeting.
We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
Space is exciting. Space, it affects us all. And it connects us all.
You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes.
Oh my goodness.
With your own eyes.
That when we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community.
Which is why we will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together as we continue to work together on. And I know we will work on this together.
None of them would have said a thing if Biden's poll numbers hadn't dropped. Not George Clooney, not Nancy Pelosi, not Barack Obama. They would have kept the grand illusion going, knowing that Harris was always the final endpoint. Since the Great Awakening, we watch the richest, whitest people who have all the power in this country hide behind shields. Black faces that stare out at us from billboards, movies, award shows, and television ads. There always has to be diverse representation everywhere you look so that everyone at the top won't be exposed. And that is exactly the purpose of Kamala Harris. She's an even better facade than Biden was. All those rich Hollywood people can hide behind her and hopefully erase Trump and MAGA. Now our government looks like a Hollywood movie. They don't want to be represented by an old white guy. They never did. But this is who they are. A government of Jeffrey Katzenberg and George Clooney, by Steven Spielberg and Sally Field, for Rob Reiner and Aaron Sorkin. The headline that Joe was stepping down hit my phone right as my mother, our friend, and I were sitting down to watch Twisters. The advertising showed the breakout star from Top Gun Maverick, Glenn Powell, as the hero of the movie. That's odd, I thought. You don't see male heroes in Hollywood movies anymore.
Tyler, do we know which storm we're going after yet?
Oh, why don't we ask?
Kate.
Hi, Kate. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Ben. I'm a reporter, doing a piece on American storm chasing. Tyler's letting me ride along.
And Ben just had to promise to write nothing but good stuff about me.
Good luck with that.
Hang on. You didn't say which way we were going yet. Now, from what I gather, west, we double our chances. East, well, it's high risk, high reward.
Well, go for the reward. I don't want Ben to think you're boring.
Now, boring is not usually a problem for me, Kate.
Two cells to the west are fighting over the same inflow. They'll choke each other out. This one to the east is the sky all to herself. Moisture, wind shear, instability. All the things you need to give Ben a good show.
But it was a bait and switch. Throughout most of the movie, he is sidelined as the ineffectual hot guy, who must be rescued by the petite blonde Daisy Edgar Jones. After the film ended and we watched this childlike woman as the smartest scientist and the toughest badass to extinguish the tornado and save the village, I was thinking, that's exactly what the Democrats have done here. They've cast the right person for their leader, but it's someone who is not believable in the part.
It is so good to hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call, and we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice. We love Joe and Jill. We really do. They truly are like family to us. And we do, everybody here does.
It's neutral.
I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, Joe.
I'm watching you, kid. I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe.
It's impossible to see where the line ends between Hollywood and the Democratic Party. Already the trades are doing their work by reminding everyone that in this country, culture can only take one side. For podcast listeners, a tweet from Entertainment Weekly. Fans are emotional over the resurfacing of Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman's final tweet, a photo of the actor with Kamala Harris and his excitement to vote for her in 2020. And a story from Variety, a top-earning theater for Twisters over $81 million opening weekend. And below that, a tweet by Deadline Hollywood, Kamala Harris presidential campaign raised $81 million in the past 24 hours. There is no chance there will be any critical examination of Harris from the perspective of Hollywood. Just like none of them will ever confront the ideology that has overtaken and very nearly crippled Hollywood. It's baked into the cake. They're also out demonizing Trump, not just in Hollywood, but across all mainstream publications. For podcast listeners, a tweet from Scientific American. Project 2025 would jeopardize federal scientists' independence and undermine their influence. When I say the empire is collapsing, that's what I mean. When one goes down, all go down. Suspension of disbelief. A movie will hold you in its grip for 2 hours if it can convince you that what you are seeing is real. But if it can't, the movie has failed. The decision to cast Kamala Harris as the leading candidate for the highest office in the land strains credulity. I can't believe her as the border czar, let alone the commander-in-chief. But who is Kamala Harris really? Is she a shapeshifter who will play any part that's required of her? What does she stand for? No one will ever ask because it doesn't matter. Like the diverse characters and twisters, the only thing that matters about her is that she's black and female. Whether she's black or not also seems to be up for debate. For podcast listeners, a tweet from Lee Fong. Kamala Devi Harris ran as South Asian in her first race in 2003, but her 2020 bio listed her only as a black woman. In San Francisco, she was tough on crime, pro-ICE, pro-business, then shifted to a criminal justice lefty on the national stage. What is her 2024 identity? But it hardly matters. She's the anointed one, per Nancy Pelosi, the real leader of the Democratic Party. For podcast listeners, a tweet from Nancy Pelosi. Politically, make no mistake, Kamala Harris as a woman in politics is brilliantly astute, and I have full confidence that she will lead us to victory in November. Who is Kamala Harris? I guess she's anyone you want her to be. To suckling infants like Drew Barrymore, she's Mamala for the country.
I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now.
Yeah.
But in our country, we need you to be Mamala of the country.
To the Trump deranged, she's Kamala the cop, Kamala the prosecutor. And to Hollywood, she's a perfectly cast female lead prepared to take down the greatest villain the world has ever known. For podcast listeners, a tweet from Dan Goldman. November 5th, The Prosecutor versus the Felon. Kind of sounds like a movie title, doesn't it? Persistence of vision. The left now, the side with all the power, has decided that elections and democracy don't matter. Box office and ratings don't matter. Profits, too, don't matter. They don't believe the economy is bad. They don't believe there is a problem at the border. They don't seem to realize who they are and what they've become. They don't seem to recognize how much the general public is starting to hate them, how much clout they've lost, and how they're no longer seen as the special people, how they can't open movies anymore or bring in ratings. They don't see themselves as the stale, out-of-step aristocracy they've become, what Grand Duke Alexander called the last spectacular ball in the history of the empire. But a new and hostile Russia glared through the large windows of the palace. While we danced, the workers were striking, and the clouds in the Far East were hanging dangerously low. They've never addressed the urgent needs of the people who sent them a message in 2016 that they were not happy with what our government has become, this de facto monarchy, this oligarchy of wealthy, powerful elites that have decided that they should run this country without our approval. Sorry, it doesn't work like that. We've just lived through something extraordinary, an attempted assassination on a president's life, and another president removed from office, as they might do in a dictatorship, and everyone is mandated to pretend like all of this is normal. Trump has arrived at this moment in history to show us what has become of our country. He's the only person with the stuff to stand up to them, but he must stand up to them. He's pulled back the curtain, and a growing number of us don't like what we see. Like every great champion of the fourth turning, he's appeared at just the right time to give us one last chance to rescue this country and return it to us, the people.
Take a series of still, sequential images. Let's look at them one by one. Faster. Now let's remove the gaps, go faster still. Wait for it. Bam! Motion. Why is that? Intellectually, we know we're just looking at a series of still images, but when we see them change fast enough, they produce the optical illusion of appearing as a single, persistent image that's gradually changing form and position. This effect is the basis for all motion picture technology, from our LED screens of today to their 20th century cathode ray forebears, from cinematic film projection to the novelty toy. Even, it's been suggested, all the way back to the Stone Age when humans began painting on cave walls. This phenomenon of perceiving apparent motion in successive images is due to a characteristic of human perception historically referred to as persistence of vision. The term is attributed to the English-Swiss physicist Peter Marc Roget, who, in the early 19th century, used it to describe a particular defect.
They've decided that the only thing that matters is their persistence of vision, that these moments of truth can't be recognized on their own when you spin the whole reel through a projector. It will have the illusion of reality, but don't let it fool you. In trying to recapture the splendor in the grass, the glory in the hour, they've lost the plot, and now it's a movie that's badly written, and it's an empire that is collapsing because most of America no longer wants what they're selling. Thank you for listening to my podcast, sashastone.substack.com. And remember, to thine own self be true.
She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus, and America too. She's a good girl, is crazy about Elvis, loves horses, and her boyfriend too. And it's a long day, living in Reseda. There's a freeway running through the yard, and I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart. I'm free. I'm free falling. Yeah, I'm free. I'm free falling. Oh, the vampires walking through the valley move west down Ventura Boulevard, and all the bad boys are standing in the shadows, and the good girls are home with broken hearts. I'm free. I'm free falling. Yeah, I'm free. I'm free falling. I wanna glide down over Mulholland, wanna write her name in the sky, gonna free fall out in